Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 2022 ASVO Awards for Excellence. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that we are hosting this event from the traditional lands of the Ghana people of the Adelaide Plains. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to elders, past, present, and emerging, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal people and their ongoing cultures and connections to land and waters in Australia. The ASVO has been promoting industry excellence, fostering leadership, and encouraging innovation and sustainability in the wine industry through these awards since 2012. And tonight, we continue the tradition of honoring and recognizing our peers in an industry celebration of the 10th annual Awards for Excellence. We're going to do a few things tonight, starting from celebrating the ASVO Inspiring Excellence through the scholarships. We will be celebrating research excellence by presenting the Research Paper Awards. We will then have a bit of a break, and we will be recognizing professional excellence with the Winemaker and Viticulturalist of the Year and the new Wine Science Technology Award. And finally, we will honor our newly inducted fellows to the Society for their outstanding excellence and contribution. ASVO values its connections with several partner organizations that share ASVO's vision and provide material and financial support. The ASVO would like to thank Wine Australia, Australian Grape and Wine, and our media partners, Wine Titles Media, for their ongoing support and contribution. Wine Australia has been part of the Awards of Excellence since they began supporting research, development, and extension programs across Australia. And I would now like to invite Wine Australia CEO, Dr. Martin Coyle, to say a few words.
Wow, Armando, what can I say? You're my style guru, I think. That's amazing. Great to be here tonight. I bumped into Chris earlier on. He was wearing his Chester Osborne shirt and things like that. And he said, oh, God, I know the week that you guys have had this week. He said, thanks so much for being here. I said, Chris, you've got it the wrong way round. Thank you for all of the work that you do and all of the work that ASVO does. So thanks, many thanks, Sue, for that kind introduction. I'm absolutely delighted to be here tonight and to celebrate excellence in science across the Australian grape and wine community. As was highlighted just this morning in our update, it's really important that our sector works together with representative bodies and association and coordinate their efforts. So I'm really pleased to be part of this undertaking and being supportive of ASVO's key annual event. This awards night is always a highlight of the wine research calendar, and it's a great opportunity to reflect on a year of scientific and technical excellence, as well as successes in innovation and adoption, both of which are crucial for ensuring that research delivers tangible benefits to grape growers and winemakers. And ASVO, as you know, plays, as Armando said, for a long history, plays a pivotal role in supporting scientific excellence across the sector through the dissemination of research and technical information and promoting a high standard of education in viticulture and enology. Now, today we had our update and the theme was, what was it, Mark? Better together, better together. And I think this, in this operating environment that we're operating in today with the sector, I think what we said today is absolutely collaboration and innovation is going to be crucial. We're not going to shrink our way out of these operating environments. We've got to be getting back to some growth and some profitability, and collaboration and innovation is going to be absolutely key to that. And really that epitomizes what we're celebrating tonight. And So driving the future growth and profitability of our sector, I think ASVO plays a critical role in furthering these efforts. I'm particularly pleased also, quite selfishly, to see research that's been supported and funded by Wine Australia, and which promotes excellence in wine quality and sustainable vineyard management, and being celebrated to here. So with that, thank you very much for Chris, the honour's mine, not yours. So thank you very much for the opportunity to just say a few words tonight. Have a great night, and let's celebrate some great science and technology. Thank you.
I definitely couldn't stress enough the importance of research and funding research in viticulture, enology and wine business. But to continue on, thank you, Martin. And as you might know, events like this are not possible without the support of platinum sponsors, such as Affinity Labs, in our case, and Elders. And I would like now to invite Neil Strimgo from Affinity Labs to stage to also say a few words.
Thank you, Armando. It was relatively close. Maybe Sue would have done a better job, but thank you for the welcome. Good evening, everyone. We're thrilled to be sponsoring this event tonight, the Awards for Excellence. It's the first time we've supported this event under our new name, Affinity Labs, which was launched earlier this year. Although the name's changed, our commitment to providing world-class scientific, technical and consulting expertise to the sector remains unchanged. The nominees tonight, I'd like to congratulate all of you and wish you all well for the competition that lies ahead. We're thrilled to provide lots of services to the sector. If you want to reach out to us, we can help you find the science behind your success. Thank you for the invite, Armando, and I wish you all a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Neil. And now let's hear from Felicity Cox, from Key Account Manager from Elders. Thank you, Felicity.
I'm not actually a key account manager, but it's nice to be out of gumboots for the week, so thank you for that's okay. Scott Brady wasn't able to come, so. And I'm not going to talk off the cuff, I'm going to read because, I haven't had enough champagnes just yet. For more than 180 years, Elders has been an iconic partner with rural and regional Australia and a constant in the viticulture landscape. Built on trust, longevity and stability, Elders is central to communities that depend on the sustained agricultural success. Elders continues to invest heavily in technical service support for customers and industry, ensuring R&D is relevant, practical and effective, playing a critical role in supporting our primary producers to achieve high value yields. With evidence-based insight, we provide our farmers with tools and strategies to enable enhanced productivity in their businesses. Your success is our success. As a proud sponsor, we share a common goal with the ASVO of increasing the productivity and profitability of the Australian wine sector through innovation. We really hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Felicity. And I would now like to acknowledge the grateful support of our gold sponsor for this evening, which are Broad, CHR Hansen, Ecotrellis, Lafort, Lallemand and Palenque. We also would like to acknowledge our guests here tonight, the CEOs and board members of Australian Grape and Wine, Wine Industry Supplier Association, Wine Communicators of Australia, and the Australian Wine Research Institute, which are our partner in the Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference, and of course, our loyal ASVO members. Thank you for your ongoing support. This is also a special night because we are celebrating the 10 years of the Awards of Excellence, and you can see all the past winners listed in the booklet on your table. You will recall that unfortunately we haven't been able to be here in person celebrating the awards in the last, unfortunately, couple of years, but we now have some of the winners here tonight from 2020 and 2021 as our VIP guests. So I would really like, I'm gonna announce them one by one, and I would love if you could stand up and get the proper recognition that you deserve. Starting in just alphabetical order with Dr. Marcos Bonada. Where is he? Nick Bullid, MW. Dr. Wendy Cameron, MW. Alex Cassegrain. Dr. Mark Kirstich. Thank you. Peter Lesky. Ben Harris. And last and certainly not least, Sue Hodder. Whom, however, as you might guess, became Armando Hodder, but that's another story. One of the objectives of ASVO is to promote education in viticulture and enology, and the board offers several scholarships and prizes to its members, with a focus on promoting the future potential of the Australian grape and wine community. I would now like to invite to stage Dr. Vanessa Stockdale. Vanessa has chaired the membership subcommittee which looks after the scholarship program. So Vanessa, thank you very much for joining us on stage, and to continue to announce the awards.
Thank you, Amanda Bell. Each year, the ASVO provides scholarships and selects one of its members to participate in the famous Advanced Wine Assessment course, or what we call AWAC, and also the Advanced Viticultural course, and both these courses are delivered by the Australian Wine Research Institute, the AWRI. The skills learnt through participation in the AWAC and the AVC may be used by ASVO members in both their current employment or for their future careers. Ultimately, this furthers the skills of the recipient, but then will also contribute to the wider wine industry for years and years to come. A panel of judges with extensive expertise in the area of wine show judging and wine sensory assessment selected the AWAC scholarship winner. Thank you to our judging panel, who undertook the rigorous process of examining the applicants and selecting the winner. Now, this year's recipient of the ASVO AWAC scholarship is Leah Motton. Thank you. Congratulations, Leah. Leah is the assistant winemaker at Domaine Chandon and is based in the Yarra Valley region. Sensory assessment is a crucial part of Leah's role, and the scholarship will help her establish her reputation in wine sensory analysis and open avenues for her career progression. Oh, come on up. Come on, Leah. Congratulations, Leah. Well done. There you go. And if you want to head over there, they'll take your photograph. Now, I am pleased to announce the recipients of this year's AVC, the Advanced Viticultural Course Scholarship, and that's been awarded to Reese Fitzgerald. Congratulations, Reese. Reese Fitzgerald sits on the Langhorne Creek Vine Improvement Committee and recently completed the Langhorne Creek Next Crop Leadership course. The judges commented that Reese was an enthusiastic young generation who is in a position to espouse the knowledge gained from attending the AVC through the business he works in. The course may lead to broader roles in the industry. Well done, Reese. Congratulations, Reese.
Back to business. It is my pleasure to welcome to stage Dr. Evelyn Bartosky. Evelyn has chaired the Journal Subcommittee, which looks after the Paper of the Year Awards program. Evelyn, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Armando. So, our first award tonight is the Dr. Peter May Award, which is presented to authors of the most highly cited Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research paper published in the previous 5 years. I'm delighted to announce the recipient of the 2022 Dr. Peter May Award goes to Sorel Muntz, Carmel Winery in Israel. So, as we can guess, unfortunately, Sorel's not able to join us this evening. However, we do have a short video with Sorel.
Hello, my name is Dr. Sorel Munitz, currently working as the Chief Agronomist of Carmel Winery, which is the largest and oldest winery in Israel. It is a great honor for me to receive the Peter May Award from the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology. After conducting field trials for over than 12 years, it is a great pleasure for me to know that my research has impact on other researchers and on the international wine industry. I would like to thank to all the people who supported me and helped me to get to this achievement. First, I would like to thank to my two advisors. The first, Dr. Ishai Netzer, who taught me everything I know about conducting field trials. Ishai was not only an advisor, but also a mentor and a good friend. The second, Professor Amnon Schwartz, for teaching me about plant anatomy and physiology. I will also like to thank to Hulda Vineyards for allowing and helping me to conduct my experiment in their vineyards. Especially, I want to thank to Robbie Endel. Another important support came from the agricultural department of Carmel Winery. I will especially want to thank Oren Schleif and Dror Dotan for their support in my research over the years. Finally, I want to thank to my wife for not only helping me to conduct the field measurements, but also for allowing me to work on my research for so many hours. Again, it is a great honor for me to receive the Peter May Award. Conducting field trials at commercial vineyards has many challenges, but it is crucial in order to generate practical data for the wine industry. I hope that the recognition that I received from the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology in my experiment will encourage other researchers to continue and conduct field measurements at commercial vineyards. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Sorel and his colleagues.
And clearly, the last acknowledgement, I think, just on its own is a sign that this guy deserved an award. The ASVO recognizes authors of research papers published in the Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research, which are judged by a committee of ASVO members to be the most likely to have a significant impact on the Australian wine industry. The committee selected from research papers that have been published in the Journal of Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research in the previous 12 months. We would like to thank the Viticulture Committee who reads through 50 papers, twice actually, and select the winners. The 2022 Viticulture Paper of the Year Award is sponsored by Green Brain. For almost 40 years, Green Brain has been providing Australian grape growers with ag-tech solutions, and these solutions include water station, soil moisture monitoring, and now satellite imagery. Combining these services empowers Green Brain growers with better irrigation decisions. I would now ask Adam Brown, Business Development Officer with Green Brain, to present the award, as well as Evelyn back on stage.
Thank you. I'm delighted to announce the recipient of the 2022 ASVO Viticulture Paper of the Year award goes to Matthew Ayres and co-workers from the CSIRO for their paper. And the paper's titled Critical Timing of Fungicide Application for Pruning, Wound Protection to Control Grapevine Trunk Diseases. So a very important paper. The judges said the paper was practical and contained useful information that would be useful in a wide, for all growers and vineyard owners. So anyone currently restructuring vines at the moment, this information would be very important, and a season like this, it's probably an important time to consider those. You get an opportunity to do some restructuring. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Maybe Evelyn. With the picture, and then if you can move on to the right, please say if you want to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you. Look, thank you very much. Obviously, there are a lot of people involved in the research that we do. First of all, I'd like to thank Wine Australia. They've been long-term supporters of us, and without their support, none of our work would happen. We also have great support from grower groups and industry allows us to mess around in their vineyards, and in fact they enthusiastically support it, which is great for us. And technical support at Sardi, Charles Sturt University, the co-authors, Reggie and Sandra at Charles Sturt University, who do such fantastic work, Eileen Scott, who a lot of you people would know. She's been influential in so many areas for so many students and so many people now working in the industry. Mark Cisnowski, of course, his tireless work is responsible for the program, the Grapevine Trunk Disease program that we have today. I also apparently have to mention my wife, Suzanne, without whose support none of this would have been possible at all. I'd also like to mention the late Trevor Wicks. Trevor was a mentor to me, and I know to Mark and a lot of other people. Trevor always said, there's no point in us doing science just for science's sake. It has to make a difference to the people that we're working for industry, and I think this is a testament to Trevor's legacy. So thank you, ASVO, for this. It's much appreciated, and thank you.
Congratulations, Matthew and colleagues. And now we move on to the 2022 Enology Paper of the Year. And again, I would like to thank the committee for the work on the award. And Evelyn, floor is again yours to present the second award.
So, I'm delighted to announce the recipient of the 2022 Enology Paper of the Year goes to Marcos Bernarda and colleagues for their paper, Soil water availability during spring modulates canopy growth and impacts the chemical and sensory composition of Shiraz fruit and wine. Judges said that addressing rainfall shortages with irrigation at the right time has a huge impact on the winemaking process of the grape composition, is more balanced about regionality by the adaptation of these irrigation practices. So congratulations, Marcos.
So, yeah, well, thank you very much. I'm completely surprised of this prize. I didn't know I was about to receive this. So I haven't prepared any speech for this occasion. So thank you very much to Wine Australia one more time for supporting us and funding our research. To Paul Petrie, my manager, co-author in this paper, for his permanent support. All my colleagues from Sardi. So I want to thank all of you. Yeah, have a great night.
It looks like Marcos needs to have a bag or a box to carry all the awards that he's been getting tonight. We will move on now and celebrate excellence in practice. And I would like to invite, for those of you who have not read the newsletter today, still the Vice President of the ASVO and Chair of the Awards Subcommittee, Andy Clark, to join me on stage. These awards recognize the achievements of some of the most dedicated professional individuals in the Australian wine industry. Many ASVO members contribute positively to the Australian wine community and inspire those around them to seek out and adopt innovative practices. The finalists of 3 categories tonight are nominated by ASVO appointed selection committees. The committees consist of individuals who have themselves, where am I? Oh, I lost it. Themselves distinguished in the fields of viticulture and winemaking, and who demonstrated exceptional leadership, ability, and vision. We thank the judging panels for their time in deliberating the awards. The finalists of the ASVO Viticulturalist and Winemaker of the Year, and as of this year, the Wine Science and Technology Award, demonstrate the following attributes. They contribute in a positive way to the Australian wine industry. They are focused on improving practices through the adoption of innovative practices, technologies, and standards. In addition, they have integrated the outcomes of their work into the culture of those around them. And last, and surely not least, they share their work with the broader wine community. Now, for the Winemaker of the Year award, I would like to thank Sencha to sponsor this Winemaker of the Year award. Sencha is a uniquely portable and reliable way to measure critical wine parameters from the palm of your hand. Sencha is available from Grapeworks Australia. I would now also like to thank the subcommittee, who is chaired by Corinna Wright, who I believe is in Milan right now, that screened nominations, shortlisted finalists, read the applications, and conducted the interviews, which, as you can imagine, is definitely not an easy task. That's all from me. Andy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Armando. Our first finalist for Winemaker of the Year is David Bicknell. Dave is the Chief Winemaker of Oakridge Wines in the Yarra Valley, and he's shown a long-term commitment to Oakridge and also to mentoring and to aspiring wine professionals. Dave has contributed to the evolution of the Australian Cool Climate Chardonnay and has shown leadership within the Australian wine show circuit. The second finalist is Sarah Crowe. Sarah is the winemaker and general manager of Yarra Yering, also in the Yarra Valley. Sarah's inclusive style of leadership has enthused her team to craft award-winning great wines. Sarah's contribution to the industry in the wine show circuit and the next generation of wine show judges via the Len Evans tutorial shows how humble leadership can see significant change for good. And our third finalist is John Hughes. John Hughes is the winemaker and owner of Riesling Freak in the Barossa and Clare Valleys. He's an icon of Riesling, a brave and visionary thinker in the industry that is determined to make winemakers and in an industry that will make winemakers and wine businesses fit into the mould. John has championed the expansion of techniques and education around Riesling and puts a tremendous amount of effort and energy into the community with the spring festivals and community work with the charity A Commitment Above and Beyond. And you also find one of his wines on the table tonight, so I hope you're enjoying the fruit of his labours.
Wonderful, Andy. And, of course, we also need Marnie Sanderson from Universal Biosensors, who are the makers of Sensia, to come up and present the awards together with Andy for the 2022 Winemaker of the Year Award. A bit of a thrilling. Andy, you're up.
Thank you. I'm pleased to announce that the 2022 recipient of Winemaker of the Year is Sarah Crowe. Congratulations, Sarah.
That's so pretty.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude, but...
It's the story of my life. And I love my Sensia unit, actually. Thank you, Sensia. Well, thank you to the ASVO and to all of the sponsors for putting on tonight's Awards of Excellence. I would also like to congratulate all of the finalists and even nominees, because for me, just to be a nominee was a real career highlight. As we heard, this award recognises a contribution to the improvement of the wider Australian wine community, and making good wine is just one criteria. So it's really lovely to be recognised tonight for your generosity towards others. And this generosity was demonstrated to me early in my wine career, and the most respected people that I met showed their generosity through just sharing, educating, leading, lending a hand, being inclusive, promoting others' achievements, and being respectful to one another. So for me, this just feels like an award for being a team player. And so a big thanks to the individuals who kind of showed me the way when I was young, and showed me the way to a more resilient and inclusive wine community. Thank you.
I hope she will remember about the MC when I go and visit them soon, hopefully. So Sarah, congratulations really again. And now we present the Viticulturalist of the Year award, which is sponsored by Syngenta. Syngenta Australia has a committed team of viticulture experts in key growing regions and market-leading portfolio for grape production. Thank you to the committee chaired by last year's winner, Ben Harris, who I believe now knows exactly how much work it goes to select a winner. And back to the Vice President to announce the finalists.
This year's finalists for Viticulturist of the Year, Nick Dry. Nick is the owner of Foundation Viticulture and is the brilliant communicator and collaborator who, after many years working in the rootstock and nursery industries, is providing national impact with the National Germplasm Collection. Nick has always been extremely generous with time and knowledge across any aspects of the viticultural landscape. Richard Leask. Richard is a second-generation wine grower for Hither and Yon, based in McLaren Vale, a Nuffield scholar and a champion of resilient farming and climate change adaptation. Richard freely shares his knowledge of alternate varieties, regenerative farming, and holistic management with a broad audience across the country. Chris Rogers. Chris is the principal consultant for Rogers Viticulture in the Barossa. He's a great communicator and works on aspects of vineyard management, such as water management and vine health. Chris is a major player in vine improvement and the viticulture committees within South Australia. Now, unfortunately, Chris is unwell and is unable to be here with us this evening.
As I was saying before, this award is sponsored by Syngenta Australia, and I would like to invite Peter Jolly from Syngenta to come up and present the award. Thank you, Peter.
And I'm pleased to announce that the 2022 recipient of the Viticulturist of the Year award is Nick Dry. Congratulations, Nick.
This is very special. It's a proud and humbling moment to be nominated and ultimately win this most prestigious award. And it's an honour to be nominated alongside two outstanding viticulturists in Chris Rogers and Richard Leask. Their valued, wide-ranging contributions to the industry and the respect they enjoy within our tight-knit community makes this award feel even more significant. I would also like to thank all the viticulturalists I've learned from and worked alongside since the beginning of my career. The success of the Australian wine industry is by no small part due to the collegiate atmosphere of those who work within it, and I'm so proud to be part of it. I'd also like to thank the ASVO for the high calibre technical resource, support, networking and advocacy they provide to all of us within the sector. I'd also like to shout out to all the people at Yalumba and Yalumba Nursery. Without the experience and shared success over my 11-year tenure, I wouldn't be standing here today. Thank you also to the sponsors, and specifically Syngenta, for sponsoring this award. On the subject of sponsorship and support, please indulge me while I talk briefly to my current project and obsession, the National Grapevine Collection. The National Grapevine Collection will protect our genetic resources, facilitate the supply of healthy intruder-type planting material, and ultimately strengthen sector resilience. While we have great support from Wine Australia and many sector stakeholders, further support is necessary to achieve all the intended outcomes. This project has reached to every GI in Australia, and investment made at this foundational end is multiplied all the way through the value chain. Finally, through my career, I've tried to follow the advice of the late, great Kurt Vonnegut. He said, "We have to be continually jumping off cliffs and developing our wings on the way down." And that's great advice, Kurt. Sorry. But without the support of my parents, my wife Claire and my kids, I don't think I would have been brave enough to keep throwing myself off that cliff. So for that I thank you, and I love you, and thank you everyone.
Very, very well said, Nick. Congratulations again. Next, just before the mains, we will present the inaugural Wine Science and Technology Award, which is sponsored by WineCheck. The WineCheck Laboratory Group is a collective of wine scientists specialized in macrobiology, biochemistry, enology, molecular biology, and chemistry. WineCheck has laboratories across the country in prominent wine-growing regions to provide precision-based expertise with an enhanced focus on highly specialized analysis. This new award was created to recognize the work of ASVO members who work in roles that are maybe less visible, such as wine science, wine labs, technology, engineering, and education extension, but which brings a range of skills, qualifications, talents, and expertise to the wine community. I would now like to thank the chair of the subcommittee, actually this year's Legend of the Vine Award winner, Mr. Peter Reyes, that screened the nominations, again shortlisted the finalists, read the applications and conducted the interviews. Andy, you're up for the third time.
Thank you, Armando. And the finalists for the Wine Science and Technology Award are Darren Fay. Darren is the Development Officer with the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries. Darren has been instrumental in delivering easily adoptable practice change for grape growers. His contribution to the wine industry is extensive and has been leading numerous applied demonstration and scientific trials to drive practice change and realise adoption across the wine industry. Nick Dry. Now, I think we've already heard about Nick, so we'll just move on from that one pretty quickly, I think. And our third finalist is also Simon Nordesgaard. Simon Nordesgaard has worked in the wine industry research and development for 18 years. Simon has been instrumental in understanding how technologies and the practices have evolved. His involvement in technology improvements cover a very wide range of applications, such as engineering relating to grape processing and projects on heat stabilisation, refrigeration efficiency, lees management, wine transport, ferment, and level sensors and autonomous tractors. That's quite a suite.
And for the 2022 Wine Science and Technology Award, which is sponsored by WineCheck, I would now like to invite Alana Seabrook from WineCheck to come up and present the award.
I'm pleased to announce that the 2022 recipient of the Wine Science and Technology Award is Darren Fay. Congratulations, Darren.
I did prepare something in the opportune that I would be successful. So I will read off a script. Firstly, I would like to thank the ASVO, the judging panel, of course, all the sponsors, and my fellow nominees, Nick and Simon. It's definitely a great honour to receive an inaugural award as Wine Science and Technology. And I'd like to say thank you to the many great growers and winemakers across New South Wales wine regions that I've worked with over the numerous years. Their assistance, insight and dedication to the craft have directed me to demonstrate applied research in new and innovative ways, all with the aim of delivering practice change to benefit their wine businesses, the environment and New South Wales wine overall. I must thank Wine Australia, the New South Wales Wine Industry Association, Charles Sturt University and of course New South Wales DPI for providing support and funding to undertake all the work carried out to date. And I hope this award leads to more funding into the future for New South Wales. Without doubt, the biggest thank you goes to my wife Jackie and my children Jer and Eb for letting me go and do my thing. Without your unwavering love and support, I definitely wouldn't be here tonight. So thank you again to the ASVO. Yeah, let's charge on.
Here we go.
Cheers.
All right. Each year, the ASVO board has the opportunity to invite a fellow from amongst its membership. This is not an award, but an invitation to join an eminent and honoured group of ASVO members. The ASVO Fellows are recognised primarily for two things: their outstanding and meritorious contribution, advancement of the Australian wine industry through a major industry, scientific, educational or society role, and their commitment and contribution to promote the endeavours of the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology. In selecting the fellows, the ASVO board employs the wisdom of its existing fellows to assist with the decision which, when it's made, must be unanimously supported by the board. We thank the members of the advisory committee who deliberated over this year's nomination. And Brooke, I would like to get closer to the lectern here to announce the two fellows for the 2022.
Thanks, Armando. So, as Armando said, we have two honourable members that we're putting through the fellowship tonight, and I'm pleased to announce that our first fellow is Prue Henschke. So Prue became a member of ASVO in 1981, and she's been a strong and professional contributor to the association and the Australian wine industry ever since. Prue's time at Geisenheim Institute in Germany early in her career established a passion for the importance of vine breeding to the point that she became heavily involved in the South Australian Vine Improvement Society upon her return to Australia. She's a former chair of the organisation, and during her time as chair, Prue successfully sought investment from Wine Australia in a national germplasm collection to include certified varieties, clones and rootstocks. Prue has also maintained an interest in biosecurity and the protection of South Australia's vines against phylloxera throughout her career. She served on the former Phylloxera and Grape Industry Board and still works closely with Vine Health Australia in a voluntary capacity on advising on possible strategies to help South Australia free of phylloxera and other known devastating pests. Prue has volunteered her expertise as part of the Adelaide Hills Wine Region Environment Committee and on environment advisory committees for the formulation of both the Barossa and Murray River water allocation plans. She's also well known for her work in biodynamic principles and organic practices, as well as the use of native grass species and other native shrubs to attract parasitic wasps and natural predators. Prue's contributions to ASVO include involvement in seminars and workshops, particularly in relation to grafting in the 1990s and early 2000s, when the many pitfalls of this important technique were less well understood. She's also been actively involved in the Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference, in planning and program committees, where her views and experience have been highly valued. And congratulations, Prue.
Well, that's my history. Okay, what did I get out of it? I guess my highlights, I'd love to just break it down and give you a few of my highlights. I think the first one was really discovering straw mulch. Now, this was an experiment with a lot of mulches coming out of the farmers surrounding the Barossa. And we trialled variety after variety. We trialled barley grass, all the things, and then we settled on wheat straw. And I think that development has now broadened across, certainly South Australia. It's being used as a mulch. But then the bells started ringing and saying, no, you can't have just a carbohydrate source on the ground. You've got to put compost on it. So in came Jeffreys with their experimentation into green waste compost. And the first lot that got delivered was full of doll's heads, pieces of old hose, a few half-cut tennis balls. I said, this doesn't look good. Anyway, they started developing a beautiful system of sorting, and now we have a really good product that comes from the city, from the green waste in the city, back to the country. So that's a cycle I really appreciate. So I use a lot of organic waste, or compost. I guess another highlight was using my botanical expertise. So I started, one area we didn't cover in botany were grasses. They said, oh no, far too difficult. And that's just what I wanted to learn about. So off I went and joined the Native Grasses Resource Group. I said, I want to plant native grasses in the vineyard because I know they can be any height. We could do away with mowing. And they're a wonderful species that goes dormant before the vine even bothers about flowering. So we tried and tried and tried. I'm still trying, but I'll get there. And I think the Eco Vineyards project has now taken on that role in a new life. But added to that, I used my botanical expertise again and went hunting for things that flowered at the same time as the vine. And then I found this beautiful bush called Bursera spinosa. So that's what I started planting at the ends of rows. And it really now has become a bit of a cult. I think all our vineyards are now developing up, if not Bursera spinosa, a broader selection of native species that are being used right throughout the vineyards. And then vine improvement. Man, this is a long row. I think it all started, it was an experience I brought from Geisenheim. So I was working closely in the Rebenzüchtung and Rebenveredelung Institute, which is the Breeding and Grafting Institute, with Helmut Becker. And who could be more inspiring than Helmut Becker? Anyway, so I brought that knowledge back to me to Australia, and I think I really started thinking vine improvement was the only way we were going to get that material into Australia. We were suffering in the hills. We just set up a vineyard at Lenswood. Chardonnay in 88 and 89 had 3 berries per bunch. And we started looking at clones that could perhaps survive in cooler climates. So that's when we started to really research the whole thing and start looking at bringing in new clones. And that went on for ages. And it's now got to a stage where I guess we're looking for a national perspective in this propagation industry, a national germplasm, a national collection of material that comes from perhaps Syro. We've got the most magnificent diversity sitting in Australia, from the James Busby collection, from what Syro's done for many years, what Richard Cerami brought in, what private growers have brought in. It's all sitting there, unfortunately infected with virus, but the genetics are there, and we've got to get down and explore them. And I think the biggest stumbling block for us at the moment is virus surveillance, virus sampling, virus testing, recognition of virus in the field, and then we know how to clean it up, I think. So we've got this huge job in front of us to actually get a high health status germplasm. And I think that's where I want to drive vine improvement into that national group that can supply high health status material to the industry, including rootstocks, which are pretty well at the moment. According to Richard Smart, at least. Anyway, so they're big ambitions still, but they're some of my highlights of my career. Thanks.
Congratulations, Prue, very well deserved. I'm privileged to announce that our second fellow is Russell Johnston. Russell began his career in Australian viticulture in 1984 as Yalumba's vineyard nursery manager, then St Hallett Wine's vineyard manager. He was then appointed as the inaugural AWRI and CSI row viticulturalist, where he was actively involved in agrochemical management. In 1994, Russell was appointed as senior viticulturalist at Orlando Wyndham. Russell's roles evolved as Orlando transitioned to Pernod Ricard winemakers, and from a number of viticultural roles right through to environmental sustainability manager in 2011. During his time with Pernod Ricard, Russell oversaw many key innovations, including implementation of the standardised 2.5 tonne picking bins, RFID tagging of bins, and the collection, coordination and standardisation of grape quality measurements. Following his time at Pernod Ricard, Russell went on to start his own wine industry consultancy, Wine Cycle. Russell has been a true inspiration for many aspiring viticulturalists and wine industry researchers throughout his career, and he has actively contributed to industry advisory boards. Russell has been a member of ASVO since 1995 and served on the ASVO board for an extended time from 1999 until 2009. During his time, he was Treasurer for 4 years from 2003 to 2006, Vice President in 2002 and President in 2009. He also edited ASVO seminar and AWITC proceedings and was involved in the Journal Advisory Committee from 2004 to 2017. Russell was also actively involved in the planning of AWITC events over a number of cycles. And it gives me pleasure for Russell to come up and accept to become a Fellow of the Society.
It's a long time since I've addressed this group, so I'm just a little bit frightened. Good evening, everyone. This is going to be a challenge and likely emotional for me, so I've written something. Thank you to the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology for inviting me to become a fellow. Thanks also to those who nominated me and to the selection committee and the board for choosing me. This is an honour that perhaps was something that I may have thought about but considered beyond all likelihood. I'm standing here with a sort of a sense of imposter syndrome, but that's probably the story of my life. At the risk of cliche, and on reflection, my life has been a series of sliding door moments that's just been a fabulous and unimaginable ride for a kid from rural Southland. But the one thing that I've learned in my life is that it is very difficult to change who we are. So as a young boy in Southland, in New Zealand, I was captivated by the natural world and plant systems, leading me to begin my education in botany. I'll come back to that in a second. You know, the thing that most people don't know about Prue is that first and foremost, she's a botanist. And there's a wonderful, rich irony in the fact that I'm standing here beside Prue being inducted as fellows at the same time. We both kind of started out in the same milieu. And what Prue doesn't know about the flora of South Australia and how it works is well, she's had incredible knowledge and she uses it well in her role. I'm incredibly grateful for the wine community for giving me a career where I've been able to express that passion for science and the environment, or what I'd prefer to call nature. I always think of that John Clark skit about the front fell off. You know, how did they fix the problem with the tanker? Well, we towed it out beyond the environment. Remember that one? Go on YouTube it, it's really funny. The front fell off. I acknowledge that my career has been made on the lands of the Kaurna, Paramanca, Ngadjuri peoples in the Barossa, and it's been one of the greatest privileges of my life to learn and work in these communities and caring for our land. Vic Patrick once said to me, you know, if you spend enough time in this industry, you'll see things happen 3 times. And I think that's about right. The other day when I was reflecting on where I was standing up at the Edinburgh for the AGM, I was kind of thinking it was in a flashback moment where I spent 4 months at the AWRI in 1992 on the phone perpetually talking to people about how to manage downy mildew, and here we go again. Kind of all sorts of stories about potassium phosphate, but we won't go into that. And, you know, some of the, although, you know, you guys have said, you know, put the pressure on me, I need to talk about my wife, Lynette. But really importantly, there was a kind of a seminal moment for us when we had just moved to the Barossa, and that's a whole other story that you'll have to hear another time, but we rented a house on Crondorf Road, just up from Robert O'Callaghan's eponymous Rockford Wines. And he was establishing Rockford Wines. He'd only just started it. And Lynette continues to work there and has really supported me through my life, and we've had a family in the Barossa. Our daughter Natalie is here with me tonight, which is fantastic. And we kind of, you know, Barossa becomes a low security prison where you just can't ever escape it. So I've been able to have a career that's sort of, you know, there's that, you know, you're sort of thinking you're either Miles Davis or Picasso, where you know, end up with 6 or 7 movements and you're trying to work out whether it's bebop or hard bop or some sort of cubist moment. So I've had about 6, 7, countless careers. So when they say on careers nights to young people, well, you're not going to have a career, you're just going to have perpetual changes in career and you're never going to stop learning. And I can assure everyone here that, you all know this, that's kind of what happens to you. I could keep going and would like to pay tribute to the huge number of people, many of them in this room that have made this, 7 periods possible. ASVO has been pretty important because it gave me kind of trainer wheels to understand something that not many people come to grips with, which is governance. And I've been able to use that experience in a range of different situations ever since. And back to my obsession with education, I'm now serving on the board of an amazing school. It's just great to be there and see young people starting the journey that we've all been on and giving them an opportunity to get a really solid start in their lives. So there are many people who have been mentors and colleagues and most importantly friends here in this room and at some point also given me the opportunity to be that person who's given others opportunities to learn and to move forward and with our and there's just so many of you that I won't take the risk of mentioning unless I went in chronological order and we'd be here all night. So look, again, thank you to everyone and thank you to the ASVO.
Now, much to Chris's disgust, I'm actually going to go off script a little bit. Mainly because I want to actually acknowledge the hard work and dedication of our Society's Executive Officer, Chris Waters, who, if you don't know him, is sitting in the back. So last year, Chris actually clocked up 10 years of service to the ASVO, and we were disappointed we weren't able to be face-to-face to be able to recognise that. So I'd just like everybody to put their hands together for Chris. Let's really embarrass him. Everybody stand up. While the Board of Directors has been ever-changing, Chris has been the one constant, patiently spending time with new directors to update them on how the Society runs. He's never one to shy away from a challenge, learning new software, getting creative to deliver technical content in new ways, and is fiercely dedicated to ensuring that we as a board have the member at our front of mind. Chris selflessly puts the ASVO and its members before himself and his family, spending countless hours outside of normal business hours, strategising new ways to enhance our membership offering and how we can make small improvements or efficiency gains. Many of you know that Chris is the first port of call for the ASVO if you've got any kind of related query, but he's also one who doesn't crave the limelight. As our only employee, he diligently goes about his job, which spans all areas of business from finance, journal admin, event planning to social media and communications. Chris has been instrumental in some of the changes that have been implemented at ASVO in the last decade, and the ASVO would not be the same without the contribution that Chris has put in over the last 11 years. And on behalf of the board and the ASVO membership, we thank Chris for his ongoing contribution to ensuring that we are all enjoying being part of Australia's wine industry's professional society. And finally, I'd just like to acknowledge our Board of Directors, so if you can please stand. Dr Evelyn Potowski, Katie Dunn, Mike Hayes, Richard Fennessy, who's not with us tonight, Dr Alana Seabrook, Dr Vanessa Stockdale and Nadia Wallington, who is also not here, and our incoming president, if you did read the media release, Andy Clark. And I can quite comfortably hand over the reins to Andy, knowing that the ASVO will be in very capable hands. So congratulations. And thank you to the board for all of their efforts over the last 12 months.
All right, that brings us pretty much to the end of our night. I would also like to extend my personal congratulations also to Prue and Russell, definitely two very deserving contributors. Thank you again and congratulations to all the finalists and winners tonight. Thanks to the sponsors and advisory committee members who helped make this night a success. Thank you also to the event planning committee, chaired by El Presidente, Andy Clark. I definitely look forward to seeing you throughout all the events that ASVO will put forward in 2023. Keep enjoying the wines responsibly. I'm looking at you, okay? And Merry Christmas. Good night.